And I'm thrilled to have you all here today. The picture that you took with the camera is the imagination you want to create with reality. With this quote by Scott Lorenzo, I would like to thank everyone for being a part of this workshop. We're excited to share the basics of photography and filmmaking with you. Whether you are a beginner or an enthusiast, this workshop is designed to help you unlock your creative potential. I would like to request Ms. Sharmishra Pradhan Ma'am, Assistant Professor and Coordinator, RSCOM, to address the room with a welcome speech. Ma'am.
Thank you, Keshav. Good morning, everyone. A little louder. Good morning. We are thrilled to have you all join us for this exciting photography workshop today. It was a kind of a pending thing that we had kept for this coming session so that, you know, our new freshers, they can also be a part of it, and we are very much happy that, you know, today we are here with this workshop. I take this moment to welcome our respected Professor Dr. Suresh Chandra Nayak sir, Dean RSCOM, respected faculty members, enthusiast students, and most importantly our guest for the day, Mr. Hirak J. Sarma, filmmaker and DOP, Director of Photography. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Kumar Kishore Kalita, Area Manager, and Mr. Dhanjit Das, Trainer from Nikon India Private Limited, for accepting our collaboration to conduct this photography workshop. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Chandra Nayak sir, Dean RSCOM, and I would like to deliver a small brief about sir. Sir.
And all present here? Be loud. Good morning. So today is a very important day for all of us. Why? Because I'm told that some of the fine arts students, they have also joined this workshop along with our first year students of journalism as well as animation and visual effects. My dear friends, first of all, at the outset, I would like to convey my profound gratitude to our Chancellor sir, our Vice Chancellor sir, as well as the entire management for giving us an opportunity to organize regular activities for the welfare of the students. Being a journalism and animation or visual effects students, you need to have hands-on trainings. So I do remember when I contacted Mr. Kalita, that means 1 or 2 months back. So in a very happy note, he agreed, and he said, sir, we'll conduct one workshop for the students. So thank you so much, Mr. Kalita and his team, for coming over here, and they will be here in order to conduct this workshop. And I hope this workshop is going to be a very learning experience for all of you, because you are all learners, and some of the first year students are here, and some of the old students, they are also here. And I'm sure that the trainer, Mr. Sarma and Mr. Kalita's team, they will give you all the exposure so far as basic photography and filmmaking is concerned. Let me tell you, that means you might have come across, there is a proverb that is, a picture is worth than 1,000 words. What does it mean? Even if you don't want to write 2 pages or 10 pages or 1 page, whatever, but still, if you are having a picture at your disposal, at your hand, that means it speaks a lot. Okay, that is what the importance of photography, and that is what the importance of filmmaking is also. Because film, so far as film is also concerned, film also reflects the society. It reflects the society, whatever is happening in the society, whatever is happening in our surrounding, that is what depicted in a film itself. So with this note, once again, I am thankful to my faculty colleagues, the coordinator and my colleagues, that means the coordinator of the event, Dr. Champa, and the entire Nikon team for coming here and sparing their valuable time with us. With this note, because I don't want to speak more on this, because we are here to, that means learn the hands-on experience from the Nikon people. So with this, thank you so much. Have a great day. God bless you all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Listening to you is always a pleasure. I feel extremely honored. Hirak Sharma is a computer science engineer turned photographer and filmmaker. Started in 2014 with photography and went on to found a company called Alchemy Pixels along with two others in 2015. Alchemy Pixels is a production house based in Guwahati, Assam, and mostly are into advertising, music videos, after movies and documentary films. Hirak Sharma, having associated with Nikon since the beginning, became a Nikon mentor creator in 2020 and has successfully mentored hundreds of aspiring individuals across India. Some of the clients he has catered to are Pinkerton India, BMW, Sony Music India, Royal Global University, NH7 Weekender, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Guwahati, Metropolis, Tata Steel, the British Council, and many more. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time with us. I would like to request our Dean, sir, along with our faculty members, to kindly come forward and felicitate our guests with a small token of appreciation from RSCOM and RGO fraternity.
How many of you are freshers? Almost close to 70%, right? How many of you know the basics of photography? Basics. Shutter speed, ISO, aperture, pata hai aapko? Very few. So we will conduct a very basic workshop because assuming number of students who are into freshers category. Okay, any one of you, can you tell us what is your expectation from the workshop? Anyone from the first year? Anyone whose name starts with A? कितने लोगों का नाम A से start होता है? Just raise your hand. नहीं है? 1, 2. Tell me please your name and what is your expectation from the workshop? We have a lot of cameras with us. Z6 II is there, 35mm 1.4 is there, newly launched ZF is there, Z8 is there. All those new camera models which you generally don't get to try and test. You can use them, try and take pictures, take some videos and let us learn from each other. And with that, I would like to thank the department, Royal Global University Mass Comm department, Professor Nayak and Sharmista madam for inviting us. And let us make it very interactive. थोड़ा सा interactive रखिए. Otherwise it becomes very boring also no, for you. We will be talking and you will be just listening. Just ask questions wherever you feel and let us learn from each other today. Thank you so much. Over to Hirak.
So this is me. So basically I am a computer science engineer graduate and during my college days, I was very fascinated with the art of photography, and which actually propelled me to go onto this field and founding Alchemy Pixels. Basically, I started with photography, but I knew eventually I wanted to go into filmmaking and venture into videos. I had a clear notion that in order to excel in filmmaking and video, I have to master photography. So this is where I started. So here is something about me. I hope you can see the projector right. We can maybe dim the lights. That would help. Production house that deals in commercials, ads, music videos, documentaries, and all sort of things that you can imagine. And here are some of our clients: Pinkathon, BMW, Sony Music India, NS7. Even Royal Global University is one of our clients. We did a few ads for Royal Global University. Before moving ahead, I'll go ahead and show you a showreel. Basically, a showreel is all of the work that we have done over the years, and it's a montage of videos, and it will give you an idea what kind of work we do. I hope you enjoy this.
BPS तो लैंडस्केप लगेगा ना पोर्ट्रेट
चलेगा
लैंडस्केप
पोर्ट्रेट होने बेसी ভালো হবে
1080 60
I hope you like the video, and this is what we do. It's a montage of all the things that we have done. There are concerts, there are after movies, there are documentaries, music videos, and all sort of things. And since there are a lot of freshers here, you might be thinking where to start, where to begin, how to take this approach, and we shall discuss all of this further. But before moving forward, I shall show you another video that is a more of a concept art. This video is basically a fusion of different dance styles. It portrays the fluidity of fire and water, and how two different elements mix together to form a harmonious balance. So it's a basically concept art shot on the Nikon Z8. I hope you like the video. Start with our presentation today. In between, I shall be showing you more videos that will help you get some idea and get some inspiration. All right. Am I audible to the last benches there? Am I audible? All right. So let's make this interactive. You will have to let me know what are your expectations, how you want to go ahead, what kind of genre you are interested in. Because in photography or filmmaking, there are various genres, right? In photography, for example, there's photojournalism, there's landscape photography, fashion. In filmmaking, you can go towards ads, or you can go towards documentaries, you can make movies or anything. There are hundreds of different genres, right? So you will have to let me know where you want to go and which genre you want to pursue, so that I can give you a tailored experience or tailored information regarding that. Before that, let's see today's table of contents. We'll move from basics of photography to understanding the various elements, to lighting, and then finally Q&A and tips and tricks. So let's start. So I hope since all of you are from mass communication, fine arts, and from the media background, and most of you are first years, right, freshers, so you don't have much of you don't have any like a deeper sense of knowledge in terms of photography, right? So you are quite fresh, right? So let's start with this question. What makes a photography, what makes a picture iconic? Of course, it's written there, but I am expecting some answers from you. We'll take 3 or 5 answers and then we'll move on. Who will tell me what makes a picture iconic, apart from what I have written from the slide? Anyone? From the first bench, maybe you? Yep. Yes, you.
I think any kind of memories that can be.
Anyone? Come on, don't be shy. Yes.
Sir, when the picture is a perfect exposure triangle, then you can consider as iconic.
All right. So you have told me a few of the different things that makes a picture iconic. Let me tell you what makes a picture iconic. There are basically 2 aspects in photography. There is one aspect, that is the technical aspect. How well you know the camera, how well you know the technicalities, that is shutter speed, ISO, or the different modes, different lenses. That is one aspect, right? There is one more aspect. The other aspect is the how well the photo is, how well you are observing the scene, or how well you are portraying the story. That comes the another aspect. So when there is a marriage between the 2 aspects of how well you are telling the story and how technically well shot it is, it makes an iconic picture. So if we see this picture, I hope you recall this picture, right? I hope everyone has seen this picture. So this is an iconic picture. It is a photo of Trump getting shot. Do you know why this is iconic? Anyone? Yes, yes.
Because they have focused
And all right, anyone else? Yes. It tells a story. Yes, very good point. Focused on the subject, tells a story, and more. One more. Anyone? Yes. Go ahead. That she is telling this photograph is taken from a lower angle, which depicts power, and she is very correct. And we have got one more point that the subject is in focus, and there was one more point, I think, timing. Anyone else? Yes. Yes, very good point here. So, if we remove any element from this photo becomes very basic. Imagine there were bullets flying around when this photo was taken, right? There were bullets flying around and people were confused. They were running here and there. And that photographer had only one chance of getting this iconic picture, and he did it right. If you remove this flag, or if you remove the position of his hand, or anything in the frame, it will be out of balance. Out of balance in composition, in framing, or all the other technical aspects that are there in making an iconic picture, it will be out of balance. And he had only one fraction of time to take this picture, and he did it right. How did he do it? How did he do it? Was it a mere coincidence? I don't think so, because he had years of practice, he had years of knowledge, he had years of observation skills, and when the time came right, he took this iconic picture. So as I have mentioned here, taking iconic pictures, you can take iconic pictures anywhere. It's independent of location, it's independent of any fancy setup. The story has to be right, the technical aspects has to be right, and you can take an iconic picture. I have started with this topic because you all are from mass communication department or fine arts department, and later on you will go on into your careers as a journalist or a photojournalist, some of you maybe, and here all of these aspects will come into picture. How many of you want to be a photojournalist? No one? Only one. All right. And what else do you want to be? Let's start with that. Let's start. Quickly, let's start. Yeah. What do you want to be in your careers?
Sir, my name is Arindam Das. I want to become
Discuss on the tricks and tips part later on, Q&A session. Right. Now let's do one thing. Let's quickly scan through all of you. Like, what do you want to become in your careers further? And let's make it quick. All right. The next one. Let's cut the introduction and the telling a great story. So, do you study works of others? If you are a VFX artist, do you go and look on the internet for inspiration? Do you go? As a photojournalist or a journalist, do you see the work of others? As an anchor, do you look for others? Yes, you. If you are aspiring to become an TV anchor, right? Yes, do you look for inspiration? Yes, looking for inspiration is very much important. As we can see, here are some of the great photographers that we can seek inspiration from. I have selectively used him as a topic because you all are from mass communication department, and he is a great photojournalist. Steve McCurry is an American photographer, and he has taken this iconic picture. Have you seen this picture before? It's very iconic, and he is known for that. And you must be thinking, what's so great about it, right? You must be thinking. So, in order to understand that, you have to understand the basics of photography, how a photo is composed, how all the different colors are used, how it is balanced in overall. If you look at this picture, you must be thinking, this is also a very simple picture. Even I can take this picture, right? But in order to do it correctly or in order to do it perfectly, you will have to know all the rules. There is a saying, if you want to break the rules, you have to know all the rules prior to that, right? So it's exactly like that. So another very inspirational person or figure is Raghurai. How many of you know him? No one? So he is a very iconic photographer. He's from India, and on a global stage, he has a huge presence. And today, where photography is going, or where filmmaking is going, it's very much fast-paced. If you go on Instagram or if you go on YouTube, it's a lot of cuts, and it's just bunch of dopamine on you, thrown on you, and you are just swiping away from one reel to the another, and there is no thought put into it, right? But if you want to become a great photographer, if you want to become a great cinematographer or a great director or anything great, then you have to seek inspiration from our heritage, from our history, from all the great people that have done good work. You might be thinking why we are studying history or the history of media or history of anything. For example, if you are studying fine arts, there may be a chapter in there or a semester where you are taught all the historical things, right? But historical things are very much important. Then only you will get to know why it is important in today's context. So Raghurai is one such person who has inspired generations of photographers. He is a Nikon ambassador, and he has been using Nikon cameras for since he started photography. And imagine, today it's very much easier for us to click a photo, post it on social media. When he was born, at that time, photography was a very elitist thing to do. And in order to convince your parents, because at that time India was a middle class society, right? Mostly middle class people were there. And if you were to convince your parents that please let me pursue photography and I'll make a living, and it's a nightmare, honestly. Because I'll give my example. I did my graduation as an engineer, right? I had to convince my parents I want to do this, and for them also it's a no. For them also it was hard to swallow because it was very unconventional, right? So imagine how he convinced their parents and how he did it. At the age of 23, he achieved a lot of things. As it's written here, he was nominated into the ranks of prestigious Magnum Photos. If you Google it, Magnum Photos is a very reputed institution in the field of journalism and press. He has very beautifully portrayed the Bhopal gas tragedy, and there are many more examples. Here are some of his pictures. Have a look. Every picture tells a story, right? There are compositional elements, in this picture, as you can see, there is chaos and there is stability and there is rush, and there is also, it's a balance, it's a marriage of two different worlds. At one end there are crowds of people rushing in, and at the other end you can see these people just staying still and enjoying their newspaper. Even here you can see her looking grim, and all these patterns are focusing to her and leading to her. And even here the composition elements are used very well. We shall go ahead and further discuss what are these composition elements that I am talking about. But before that, I want you to read this slide. What is your role behind the camera? Because see, today we have iPhones and cell phone cameras, and it is very accessible for us to take photos. But imagine 20 years from now, or 10 years from, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, cameras were not that accessible, right? And it was very difficult. Now that we have access to cameras, we should know what is our value. Our value behind the camera is not just the technical labor. We have to master the art, we have to master the craft. As photographer, we are visual problem solvers. If we see this picture again, he has solved this problem in a fraction of a second. It was like second nature. How many of you here know how to drive? Drive a car? Just raise your hands. All right. Drive a motorcycle? All right. So those who those you have no, those who have you, those you have tried how to drive a car, you must have noticed when you first started, it was very difficult. How to handle the clutch, how to handle the brake, there's accelerator, there's steering, there's people in the street, and it was like a chaos and very chaotic environment. Slowly and slowly, when you started driving more and more with practice, it became second nature. Now when you are driving, and I hope you have gained enough proficiency in that, now you can eat Maggie also and drive, right? There is no issue in that. So there will be a point in time when all the technical aspects of photography will become second nature. And beyond that point, you will have to take over as an artist, as an expert, and solve all the problems. I hope you have understood this point, right? So here are some points, you can directly read it. I'll just read it out. Photographers are visual problem solvers. You will have to solve a problem, you will have to tell a story. You will have to know why that particular thing is in your frame or why that particular thing is not in your frame. It has to be your particular judgment or command, why is it there in that frame. Iconic frames, photographs don't just happen. For this to happen, there are multiple other pictures also, which you have not seen in the Time magazine cover, and those were not iconic. Although the moment was iconic, but only this photograph was iconic because he balanced everything out and he made it iconic. So as a photographer, you will have to know what to do, what not to do, and we shall discuss all of this further. We will have to train our eyes to see different things, right? So as you move ahead in your careers, you will be more proficient and you will know what to do, what not to do. And as you get more experience, you will see more things. Like in terms of color, right now you all are freshers, and by the time you move to your final year, you will see a lot of different things, especially in color. The fine arts people, they will know. There are so many colors. If not trained, you will not notice it. Or if you are not looking for it, you will not see it, right? I'll give you an example. Suppose you like a phone or any product or maybe a car and you are obsessed with it. You will see this phenomena that car will appear everywhere around you, suddenly, out of nowhere. You will see it in the market, you will see it in the streets, or you will see that advertisement of that product that you are looking for on the papers or social media or anywhere. Suppose the phone you are looking to buy, you will see the advertisement in the banners and everything, and suddenly it will start popping out. It has been always there, but you did not pay attention. Now that you are paying attention to it, you see it everywhere. And the same will happen as you will gain experience in your field and you will see things more clearly. And we have to train our eyes, we have to train our brain so that we see those elements, we see those things, we see those colors and execute it in a good way. All right, so these were a few of the photographs. Let's see them once again. And I basically met him 2 or 3 times, and it was in 2017 or 18, and I was around 3-4 years into my career then, and he imparted a huge chunk of knowledge. And let me tell you, today you might be thinking, these are very mediocre photographs, or even I can take them. And at that point of time when I met him, even I thought the same. But now when I have matured in my career, I know the value of these photographs. These are incredible, iconic pictures. Once you know what to look for and how to take this photograph, you will appreciate its value. And in order to appreciate the values, in order to appreciate an iconic photograph, you have to look at great work. Let me tell you one thing. If you want to become great, then surround yourself with inspiration of great people. Don't surround yourself with mediocre people. For example, if you want to become an anchor, TV anchor, don't just surround yourself with or inspire yourself with a mediocre TV artist or TV anchor. Find the best of best anchor, find the best of best of any field and seek inspiration from that. So these people, Steve McCurry or Raghu Rai, are one of the best and iconic. If you want to pursue filmmaking, if you want to make films, then seek inspiration from people like Satyajit Ray. They will impart so much knowledge on you that you will not even know what to take, what not to take. But before that, you will have to take small steps and learn the basics first and move on. Here is a task for you. You may be a student of fine arts, you may be a student of animation or mass communication. This is true for everyone because photography is a great skill and you can do it with a camera or with a professional camera or without it. There are cell phones, there's iPhones and other Android phones. You can try it with anything. Do this experiment. Visit your nearby temple or school or any place that you have access to, suppose a park. You go there, you go and visit that park and try and photograph a particular element of it. If I take an example of a park, there is a children's playing seesaw or something, I don't know. Then you can go and take a picture of it. And the next day you go there again, maybe you go there in the morning, and the next day you go there in the noon, and the next day you go there in the afternoon, and you will see the difference in the light, how the shadows are creating a different mood, how the angle of the light is creating a different picture altogether. You will notice all of that. You go and do this experiment and you will see a whole lot of different things that will inspire you. Before moving forward, let's watch some videos that will help you wake up from sleep if some of you are sleepy. And here is a video that we did. So, do you know NS7 Weekender? How many of you know NS7 Weekender? Raise your hand. So most of you know. So basically it's a festival, music festival, and in the year 2020, because of COVID, that festival was online, and we did the part of Tabachake, and we went to Arunachal Pradesh. The sky was beautiful, and here is a BTS of it. You will have an idea what we did, how we did.
Good morning, guys. So this 28th September, it's 10:30 in the morning. We left our hotel at around 7:30. The whole production team is there. There's the sound guy, there's the production team, and there's the generator as well. And we're taking one time lapse here, 4K time lapse. So the whole thing needs to be recorded in 4K. And the weather looks really nice. The visibility is like beyond like 6-7 kilometers. So crystal clear. Yeah. Let's see what we can come up with today. And the show is going to start from 2. And yeah, we'll be in and out getting to show time and we'll keep you updated. The pandemic is going on and the whole ecosystem is now virtual. There's supposed to be one event called NH7 Weekender, and it's not happening this time physically, but it's happening in virtually online. So we are here to cover Tabachake as an artist of NH7 Weekender, and like from 2 it will start. Then we'll like wrap the whole thing in like 2 hours after we start.
The show that we've lined up, I think the location does like incredible justice to the kind of music that Taba plays, and I think it's really going to bring his music. It's going to bring the viewers to where the songs have originated. So I feel like relatability-wise, I think it's going to be beautiful. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
We are still setting up. It was a heck of a trip down to the main road to the field. So I'm almost done. I'm very tired, so the rest of my team is like working and taking some rest right now. Hopefully, hopefully this thing will come out as good as the kind of hard work it might done. Yeah. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Tamakakul, and today we're shooting for NS7 Festival on top of the Arunachal Pradesh. Initially we call it Pukun. But yeah, and now we're setting up the stage. The bands are doing sound check and everything. So we'll be performing in 30 minutes. So also this is my first time we're doing outdoor shoot and recording the band, like whole setup. So I never experienced this kind of setup or never performed anything like that. So this is going to be huge and something unique for me as well. So yeah, man, it's a very unique and very nice experience. The sky is also clear and you can see the sunshine, moonlight, everything is so bright and nice. So I hope you will like.
I hope you liked the video, and it was very much fun to be there and shoot in such an exotic location. And yeah, how many of you know Tabachake here? Only a few. All right. So he's a great artist from Arunachal Pradesh, and we shot it for them. So if you look at this video, it's in a format of a mini documentary. You can seek inspiration to how to shoot a documentary, how to stitch interviews, how to take all of that. But since it's a basic workshop today, we shall only understand the basics. Understanding the basics. So how many of you know the ISO, the exposure triangle? Only a few, right? So let us move ahead and let me explain you. All right. So understanding the basics. When you have a professional, how many of you have used a professional camera? Raise your hands. Only one? Only two. You have never used a professional camera before, like the ones here? So how many of you take photos in general in life, like a landscape or anything? Just raise hands. Just raise hands. All right. Very few. Okay. So when you are using a phone camera, all of the settings are baked in. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to worry about anything. But when you are using a professional camera, there are things that you need to control. There are technicalities that you need to understand. One of those technicalities is ISO. Second one is aperture, and third one is shutter. I'll explain this later on as we go ahead. But before that, let's move on to composition. That will help you understand what I'm talking about. Here are a few interesting points or things that are used in the iconic photo that I have showed you here in this photograph. What are the elements that I have been talking about all this time? What are the compositional elements that I have been talking about, or the color or the negative space? We'll talk about this now. Some of the key composition techniques, rule of thirds. How many of you know about rule of thirds? All right. About leading lines? Okay. Same bunch of people. Again, symmetry? Very few. All right. Depth of field, negative space, and use of color and contrast. Use of color and contrast? I think the fine arts people at least know. No idea? All right. I'll let you know. So, rule of thirds. So basically, when you take a picture or take a frame, you can draw a few lines. As you can see here, you can draw a few lines here, 1 and 2, and same like this, 1 and 2, equally dividing the frame into portions. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 portions. And when you put your subject in the particular intersecting lines, it automatically looks good. That is a very fun fact. For example, here you can see there are many things happening. The horse is at the intersecting point of the lines, so it automatically making the frame much more balanced. There is this mountain in the middle, which is making a symmetrical frame here, and there are this almost straight lines here in the middle, balancing the top half and the second half. So when you are putting all your elements in this rule of thirds, it automatically makes sense. Here also, if we see here, till here is it okay? Did you understand the things that I have been discussing here? How many of you use rule of thirds in photography? Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Even if you are into drawing,
15 people.
painting,
Yeah.
you use the same composition techniques.
So, if you are into fine arts, if you are into VFX, if you are into graphic design, if you are into motion graphics, video editing, any form of art, rule of thirds and all the composition elements will come in handy, and it will be used. So it will be used over and over and over and over again, to a point where it becomes second nature, like driving a car. So you will see things divided into frames, into rule of thirds automatically as you progress through your careers. Here, if you can see here, if you divide this frame by the same concept, here will be one line here where his hand is. Can you see the cursor here? Is it visible? If you can draw a line here, you see his hand automatically falls in the rule of thirds, right? And same here, it divides the frame in a very balanced manner, and that is why this photo is iconic. We are drawing a few lines here and here, and then here and here, and it is automatically making it a lot more balanced. So next time when you are taking pictures with your phone, you will find an option called grids. Turn on the grids and you will see these lines, and try and place subjects in the rule of thirds. Here also, if you can see, this tree is here in a rule of thirds, right? If you divide the frame like this tree will fall in one of the lines. This line. All right? So leading lines. Have you seen this before? So leading line is one of the compositional techniques that helps the viewer guide your eyes where you want to look. For example, in this photo there is nothing extraordinary that is happening, right? There are two people just walking, and the photographer is forcing you to look at those people by using these lines. Here you can see the footpath or the pavement have natural lines coming out here, and these leading lines are forcing your eyes to the subject. You can find these leading lines in nature, you will have to look for it, and you can force your viewer's eye or attention to the subject. Next one is symmetry. Symmetry is a very interesting point. Do you guys watch Sanjay Leela Bhansali's films? Have you watched his film? Padmavat. Have you watched Padmavat? Alright. If you watch Padmavat, then you will see Sanjay Leela Bhansali uses symmetry to a very obsessive amount. There is symmetry in everything. If you look at his frame, if you look at the bungalow, if you look at the windows, there will be symmetrical windows here and here. And it is a very interesting and important compositional technique. Symmetry draws our eyes and makes us very satisfied and pleasing. If you look at this picture, you will not know, but you will feel a sense of satisfaction in looking at it, right? Because it is symmetrically balanced. Imagine this part was not there, and it would have been a very unbalanced and unsymmetrical picture, and somehow you will feel that it's not a very good picture, right? So a good picture or an iconic picture has this element of symmetry, has this element of leading lines and rule of thirds, and all of this combined. There are more compositional techniques like depth of fill. Depth of fill is defined as like the portrait mode that you have on your phones. This has come to the phone cameras now, but originally, historically, it has been done with professional cameras, with professional lenses. With different set of lenses, you can blur out the background. That is called depth of field. Here are a few lenses. Since all of you are quite at the beginning stage and you have never used a professional camera, so let me let me explain this to you in a very simpler way. We have different lenses, right? We have 50 millimeter lenses, we have 85 millimeter lenses, we have 120 millimeter lenses. What is the use of all of these lenses? Who can tell me? What is the use of different lenses? Anyone? Anyone from the back? Use of different lenses in photography? Won't it be ideal to use just one lens and just save space, or it will be a much more easier and handier operation to do, right? Then why do we need so many lenses? Yes? Yes, to shoot different types of photos. And yes, to explain it to you can sit. To explain it to you in a very simpler way, there are a few numbers associated to a lens. For example, 50 millimeter lens, 50 mm, 85 mm, 7200 mm. So you can see these numbers are progressively increasing. As you increase the numbers, the zoom level, the level of zoom you can do basically increases. If you are using a 35 millimeter lens, the field of view will be similar to what we see with our eyes. Yes.
We use different lenses so that we can adjust the wide angle and the narrow angle.
Yes.
For the wide angle, we use like higher lenses.
Yep. So he has told me that there are different like perspectives. Wide angle is there. There is a telephoto, and in our phones also we can see 0.5x is there, 1x is there, 2x is there. So different lenses work. Like a 0.5x can be around 20 millimeter, and 1x can be around 35 millimeter, and 2x can be around 85 millimeter, and so on. Apart from that, there is a element called aperture that we have discussed here in the basics of the exposure triangle. Exposure is basically how bright or how dark a photograph is. Imagine a dark photograph where you cannot see anything. Will that photograph be iconic? Will it be? No, it won't be, right? Imagine a photograph that is washed out. You cannot see anything. All the details are washed out, everything is white. Will that be iconic? No, right? So in order to make a great photograph, at least technically sound photograph, you have to master this triangle of exposure triangle, where ISO is there, aperture is there, shutter speed is there. Here you can see some numbers associated with the lenses. f1.4, f2.0, f2.8, f4.0, f5.6, and so on. Who can tell me what it denotes? Anyone?
How much light should
Yes.
light should it
Yes, this number basically denotes how much light should enter the camera sensor. Here you can see f16. The hole is very, very tiny and small. If you compare this with f1.4, the lens hole is very much bigger. So there is more light passing through the sensor, and there is more light basically. The picture is more brighter and less darker. And having a more smaller number, f1.4 creates a more shallower depth of field. Depth of field is the level of blurriness that you find on a photograph. Nowadays, if you compare it with your smartphone, you will see there is a portrait mode, right? In portrait mode, you will find the same numbers: f1.4, f2.0, f2.8. How many of you use iPhones here? All right. And rest of you use Android? Okay. So when you are using your iPhone, there is a portrait mode. You can go home and explore the different f numbers. The lower the f number is, the more blurrier the picture would be. The background will be more blurrier. You can try and explore it. The same thing is written here, and it is also explained in a visually interesting way. And this is a technique where you can force the viewer to look at where you want to look them at. For example, there are two subjects, one in the background and one in the foreground. If you want the subject to look at the subject in the foreground, you will put the focus in the foreground. If you want them to look at the background, you will put the focus in the background. I hope this is clear. Let's not move into too much technicalities because you all are all beginners here. And here is one more concept called negative space. Especially in fine arts or 3D, VFX, all of graphic design, this is very much used. Negative space is a very interesting concept to learn. Here you can see there is nothing else in the frame, only one tree. And this negative space is forcing you to look at the tree. Is it right? So all of these frames are very minimal in nature, and it helps you to guide your eyes to the particular thing that you want to see. So here are a few examples of different compositional techniques. Number 1 is rule of thirds. Number 2 is leading lines. Number 3 is symmetry. Number 4 is depth of field. Then the negative space. And last is color and contrast. Color and contrast is basically using different colors and using the color theory to make the photograph more iconic. How many of you here know about the color theory? Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So color theory is a very interesting topic. Every one of you here will need color theory in your life some point or other, along with composition. And these are a little bit advanced topic. With time as you grow further or with time as you learn, you will get to know more about it. Of course, you can Google it and you can learn about it. Here is ISO. We talked about the exposure triangle. The exposure triangle has ISO, aperture and shutter speed. So ISO is also a number in the camera. In the pro mode you can find it. It basically makes your image more brighter or darker depending upon the scene. So if you look at ISO 100, it is a more balanced frame. If you look at ISO 200, it is a little bit brighter. If you look at ISO 800, it's a bit more brighter and washed out. So you'll have to adjust your ISO accordingly. You can find these settings in your phone cameras as well. You go home and try it out. It's very interesting. In your phone there will be a pro mode. In the pro mode you can try out the different ISOs and settings, and it will be very interesting to you, and you will find out that you can take pictures in a dark room and make it brighter. So it's very interesting and fascinating. Here is a relationship between shutter speed. Shutter speed is another interesting concept which I don't want to go into technicalities, but basically the lower the shutter number is, the blurrier the photos will be, right? How many of you have witnessed this phenomenon where you are taking a photo at night with your phone camera and it's very blurry, right? You have to hold your camera for 2-3 seconds, only then the photo is sharp and crisp, right? I hope many of you have encountered this. This is because of the fact that at night the camera automatically drops your shutter speed to a very lower level here so that it can get more light into the camera. Imagine a shutter like this in front of your camera sensor. It opens up and then it closes. So the amount of time it's open depends, like the amount of time it will be open, light will be going in, right? So the more amount of time you will keep it open, more amount of light will go in, right? So that is the concept. If it just opens and closes, then a very little amount of light passes. If you keep that same shutter open for 2-3 seconds, more amount of light passes through it and it makes the frame more brighter. The same thing is there when you are taking a photo in a low light condition, when you are taking a photo in at the night. So this is the concept of shutter speed. I hope you have understood it. I am sure this is a little bit technical for you now because you all are starting right now. And before moving forward, let's go ahead and look another video. And I hope that will break the monotony of it. Here is a showreel of us that we worked on basically early in my career. I was mostly doing concerts after movies. I hope you like it.
intangible wealth. And the great occasion is somehow spoiled for us unless photographed. And to read about it the next day in the newspaper is oddly more fun for us than the original event. This is a disaster. For as a result of confusing the real world of nature with mere science, we are destroying nature. We are so tied up in our minds that we've lost our senses. Time to wake up. What is reality? Obviously, no one can say because it isn't words. It isn't material, that's just an idea. Reality is cannot be explained in words. I'm not trying to put you down. It's an expression of you as you are. One must live. We need to survive, to go on. We must go on.
That was it. I hope you liked the video. There are a few more videos that I want to show you. Here is one that I did for, I think it was in 2022. We did an ad for Royal Global University.
Welcome to Royal Global University, your dream university to pursue.
I hope you have seen this video already, right? If yes, then I'll just skip it because it will be like a regular affair to do. So here is one more. This is the after movie that we did for IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur, I guess. Kharagpur, yes.
Every day I find a way through darkness. Have a smile that portrays my happiness. Every year I long for celebration, for the moments I still cherish in time, to be with my tribe in elation. You know what's on my mind. Ooh, when we get together, ooh, oh, we'd be dancing like this. Special kind. We're in this together with passion. You know what's on my mind. It's bound to be true. Shakes my life. Love my touch. साथ चले संग तेरे निकले हम भी साथ चले संग तेरे निकले Stands we shakes
I'll show you a few more because then we'll move on to the Q&A very soon. So there are a few music videos that we have done, and here is one of them. It was just a teaser of it because it will take a whole lot of time to watch the full one. And there was one guy. You were there into fashion photography, right? For people who are into fashion and all of that, I have one more video here. All right, I think that was most of it. There are a few more, but I think that wraps it up. And all right, there are a few more slides. I'll just quickly go through it. Every great cinematographer is a great photographer. You will have to master the basics. So as I have already told you, these are all screen grabs from famous Hollywood and Bollywood movies that are shot, and this is one of Disney's film. I forgot the name. Same here. All of the compositional elements are used. Here you can see symmetry is used. Here the framing is centered with leading lines and everything. So in order to become a great photographer, in order to become a great cinematographer, first you have to become a great photographer. I mostly deal with filmmaking, so I am giving you this reference. So any one of you who want to become a filmmaker, who want to become a cinematographer, you will have to master the art of photography first, and then only you can climb on the ladder to become a great cinematographer. Here are a few camera movements that are needed in order to tell a story effectively while making a video, while making a film, but I think that would be too much for now. So I'll maybe in the next workshop, if I am coming here again, we shall discuss all of this. And before moving forward, let's talk about this. Lighting is key. Photography is basically capturing light, right? So one aspect of photography is technical aspect, another aspect is the storytelling, and I would say third aspect is basically managing the light, right? And how well you can do it makes a difference of day and night. Here are a few different lighting diagrams that I have put here and different lighting styles. You might have noticed all the different YouTube videos like Dhruv Rathi or any of your favorite YouTubers who is there doing a interview style video, right? They are mostly using this 3-point lighting setup here, as you can see. And if you're looking at fashion or any commercial that is like a Pond's advertiser or Lakme or anything, there is soft and diffuse lighting is used. Why? Because those lighting make your model or make the actress much more visually appealing. And all of the different lightings have different use cases, and depending on the use case, you choose the type of lighting. Hard lighting is there to do an artistic style, and soft and diffuse lighting is there for cosmetics, for makeup, for more pleasing and soothing experience. 3-point lighting setup is there for documentaries, for interviews. As you move on with your practicals and in your career, you will be using lights. Currently, though, you will be using mostly natural light, but as you progress further in your career, light will be one of your best friends. And by modifying light, by modifying artificial light, you can make your frames much more different. And one of our best friend is reflector, because not always we are carrying huge lights here and there, right? When we do not have huge lights with us, we use reflectors. Reflectors are basically a piece of equipment or clothing or whatever that basically bounces light. Here you can see there is a round reflector here. It acts as a mirror. It reflects light, and that light is used to shape and do different kinds of things. So that is about lighting, and this is about me. This is my Instagram handle. You can scan it. You can find me. This is our website, and this is it from me. And let's open it up for a Q&A. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you have any questions about how to navigate through the career or how do you want to go there, any questions you have, you can ask me. That way I can give you a tailored advice because I've been here in the industry for around 10 years, and I can give you a tailored advice. Motorcycle that can go up to 200 kilometers per hour and 300 kilometers per hour. It's a very high speed motorcycle. What can be the outcome? Yes, the possible outcome is accident. It might not be the case, but for most of you, the possible outcome is an accident. So what I suggest is, when you are starting out, you should start out with a motorcycle or a scooty. That is a very beginner friendly, right? So when you are a beginner, you should start with a beginner friendly camera. As you master that camera, with time you can progress further on and you can get more professional or more experience or more a camera that has more functionalities and more features. Because when you are buying a very expensive camera or a very professional camera, there will be so many features, you will be in a dilemma what to do, what not to do, and you will be in a lot of doubt. So initially starting out with a baseline camera will help you. Yeah. Any more questions? Anyone? As a beginner, I think around 50 to 70,000 is a good budget to start, and you can spend up to 1.2. That is a good budget. Yeah. Anyone else? Any question from that row? If not, then we'll wrap it up. No one? Thank you. So she has asked me a question: how to do a color coordination or how to use colors in our advantage, right? Is it your question? All right. So colors are a very important part in photography or filmmaking or any form of art or media. There is a theory called color theory where there are a lot of colors. You might have seen a circle of colors in all of the editing softwares or anything. If you have explored it, there will find a lot of different colors, right? So there are different combination of colors. If you Google it out, there are triadic colors, there are complementary colors, there are different pairs of colors. If you Google it out, you will find out. But basically, using color theory to our advantage helps us to explore the different combinations. A few years ago, there was a trend in YouTube where travel filmmakers were at Rise, and they were notoriously known for a very exotic color theory, use of color palette that is teal and orange. And that works. Even today, if you are looking at Hollywood films, that color palette is used, where the background is in a shade of blue and the foreground is in shade of orange. And do you know why this works? Because it is governed by the same color theory of complementary colors. So if you Google it, you can know that there are different color patterns, different color combinations like complementary, semi-triadic, and so and so. And you can explore that. And today, since it's a very beginner-friendly workshop, I have not kept it in this slide. And yeah, that's it. So his question is, how much do you have to rely on editing in order to make our photos better? So I'll make it into two parts, in order to make our videos better and in order to make our photos better. So in photojournalistic style, the reliance on editing is very little. The people who are good photojournalists, they don't rely on editing too much. They keep it very photorealistic, as it is observed or as it is seen. There is very minimal editing. But like in a genre like fashion photography, there is heavily face retouching is done in order to cater to the needs of the industry, right? Because if you look at the model at the big banner and there's pimple on her skin, there might be some rejection of her or the brand. So it depends on the industry that you are catering. In photojournalism, the editing, the reliance on editing is very less. In fashion photography, it's very high. In landscape, it's somewhere in the middle. But I personally like to believe that do not keep the mindset of fixing it in post. Fixing it in post is a mindset where you see, you keep a mindset where you keep it for later. I'll fix it later in the editing software. You should make it as close to perfection on camera. For example, you are clicking a photo. Do not do not keep it for later on to process in the editing software. Keep it as real as possible when you are taking the photo. Same goes with video. If you are a VFX artist or if you are doing a lot of motion graphics, at the time of shooting itself, you try to fix it as much as possible. You try to get the best quality photo, you try to get the best quality video, or all the necessary details that are needed for you to do a good quality post-processing. Because there has to be a synergy or there has to be a harmony in both of the process. There is no over-reliance on post-processing or there is no over-reliance on, editing. I hope I have answered your question. Yeah. Anyone else? In our job, in our company, we get a lot of internship opportunities. You can definitely ping me. Here is my